Hello everyone! Welcome back to Mania 70 World Cup 2024, and we're back once again with another new set of matches coming up for you. On this particular stream, we're gonna be seeing quite a bit of big names here. Malaysia versus Thailand. I'm vv I'll be commentating with Spark. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Notice we started this weekend off with a bit of a bang. Saw Canada take China all the way to tiebreaker. Unfortunate not to take the victory there. And then just a string of 6-0s. But with that being said, this matchup, these two countries, I feel like we're not going to get something as straightforward as a 6-0 if either of these countries have anything to say about it. I expect a incredible back and forth between both of them, especially because of the fact that they have quite the history against each other in various World Cups, not just this one, but it'll be exciting to see how they stack up against each other today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do feel that, these two teams, especially seeing these names, they are well-seasoned veterans. To name a few, like Nioje, Kiwi, Moscow, and everyone else, because they literally have a huge amount of experience under their belt, and it's no surprise seeing them here, although they would have to battle it out to get to the semifinals with a flag.
Yeah, for sure. And we're already getting underway with the proceedings here. It looks like Thailand is going to be protecting first. They decided to go for LN2 here for their protect. Malaysia responds with Hybrid 1 and banning out LN1. Pretty interesting response. Not surprising in the slightest, especially given the category that LN1 likes to take up. Probably not wanting to do any slow coordination shenanigans this weekend.
Yeah, of course. I believe that Oceanic Museum has been quite a little bit of a band-aid for most teams. I think for Malaysia in specific, they are not as strong as you would think for most of the slower LN picks, and I think Oceanic Museum is an understandable ban. But also on the other hand, Thailand is protecting the other slow, longer coordination, which is LN2. No surprise to seeing two players on Thailand's side would be able to duke it out against Malaysia in that case.
Yeah, for sure. And Thailand responding with the Rice 1 ban. Pretty unsurprising. What is surprising though, picking right into Rice 2 to get this match started off. So you get rid of the speed pick, you go into the chord stream. Another very quote-unquote straightforward Rice styling. Something that's very comfortable for all the players involved in this match. And going up against Malaysia on Rice, both of them being extremely proficient on this side of the map pool. It'll be very interesting to see how they stack up. It'll probably be who we see on screen, Lost Cool and Natsurio going against Chiwi and Neo. For those of you keeping track at home, Malaysia only have a 2-man roster, so Chiwi and Neo are going to have to play every single map that we are about to go underway here.
Yeah, also, in case you are not aware, that there's also a match happening at this time around, and it will be Brazil versus France that are going on the B stream. So if you are wondering whether you can watch in that particular match for Brazil and France, you can go over and watch the stream over there. It's on the link. It's already on the chat as well. So you might want to go there as well. And those are also spicy matches going on there.
Yeah, for sure. But with that being said, looks like the players are ready. We're going to get into this first map, see how they do, see if Thailand can start this match off on the right foot. Very bold strategy going for the Rice pick, see if it pays off here, or if Malaysia can run off with the first break point in this match.
This is as straightforward for a core stream as you can get, so you better start to get farming those rainbows from the start to finish, because that's all there pretty much is to it. Almost no break, and you get some sort of a pseudo bracket-ish core stream that kind of gets you off. Although we're starting to see a little bit of a flicker with Neo not having the strongest start.
And Chiwi finding a break very early on here. going to give Thailand a bit of an advantage to start off with, despite Chiwi keeping out a very clean miss, 99.8 still, but being matched by Law School with the FC in the back pocket as well. Natsurio in support, going to account for about 5,000 points and climbing as Chiwi starts to get back up over that 400 combo cap, going into the second quarter of the chart now.
Yeah, I think I saw Chiwi getting a 99.97 before he started to break. So yeah, I guess the drop wasn't the cleanest per se, but it's still climbing back up even higher than Law School, even with the drop like that.
Yeah, but for right now, it's making all the difference at the moment. Just leading over those couple thousand points on account of the miss. They're going to need Thailand to start dropping some accuracy or maybe a miss in response if they want to start taking this back. But that being said, they are starting to slowly chip away at this lead as Chiwi continues to climb higher, almost back up into that 99.9% range with a third of the chart left to go. Neo doing everything in their power to build up as well, keeping Natsurio at bay with the first real break of the song coming through here. It is still 3 FCs left on the board here.
The lead has shrunk from 5,000-ish to almost 2,000. And that is solely because Natsurio's tanking accuracy, and now the lead's going over to Malaysia on that case.
Yeah, Russia 200 is getting back into the real dense core stream, the last quarter of this chart. Natsurio taking about 0.3% of damage, and there goes the miss. It is going to help extend this lead for Malaysia. It was looking so good for Thailand going into the beginning, but Chiwi finds another drop in
There's
response.
another drop as well. There's another drop as well. There's a second drop by Chiwi, and I feel like the accuracy should still be a little bit ahead against Thailand, but Law School is trying to keep his cool, and Neoje is also still on the FC grind, but that is still anybody's game up until this very point.
Oh,
and
there goes Neo!
Finally, and there goes Neo with the drop as well. Only Law School being able to keep his cool for the entire way through.
Oh, Sotoria, last couple of patterns coming through here. It gets so dense here at the end, and can they keep it together? And they will! Oh my goodness! Hold on, there was a tiny bit of a desync from Chiwi. I think they left the lobby a little too early. I think that is still indeed a Thailand win. What a performance from Law School. A singular 200 on what was otherwise an immaculate performance to bring the lead back over in Thailand's favor, to make it 0-1.
If this has been a 1v1 situation, Neo and Natsurio is pretty much almost dead even in terms of ratio. The only difference is that 9-200s.
Yeah, there's very little between these two countries. On that first Rice pick, it was a very dangerous pick for Thailand to go into. Almost let it slip away, but fortunate to keep it together, keep that one FC left on the board, and it was just enough to see him through over the line. And now that potentially raises some questions for Malaysia as to what they want to go into later on in this match. Looks like they're not going to go with the Rice. They're going to go for Hybrid 1 here.
Target for Love. I think this would be a pretty expected pick right out of the gates for Malaysia. But I think for previous experience that Malaysia has been picking most likely around the Rise side, and maybe venturing in the Hybrid side on a later game, I think they would go for Hybrid as their first pick, just to test the waters a little bit against Thailand's Hybrid.
Yeah, this could be a potential alternate avenue for them to find some points against Thailand here, but they need to keep things together. Kind of had a couple blips on the radar on that last pick. Hopefully they don't rear their heads once again, because they were looking really strong trying to claw that lead back from Thailand after that early drop from Chiwi, but unfortunately not able to keep it through till the end. So we'll see how it happens here with Malaysia's first pick. Looks like there aren't going to be any substitutions from Thailand. It's going to be Law School and Natsurio sticking it through 2 for 2 as it stands. MP Star Command comes out. We're going to get into the second map.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. This will be an interesting one to see for most of the Thailand's hybrid scores in particular, because Thailand's scores doesn't have any more of information that we can think of, because there are 2 more hybrids left, after Malaysia picked this, so they would be kind of gun on that too after they exhausted the rice.
Yeah, for sure. So we shall see how it turns out for both of these countries as we begin the first hybrid of this match. And so far, pretty even performances. I think Material lagging a little bit behind through this introduction. Can be understood. It's pretty hard to get some of those releases on point. Maybe picked up a couple straight 200s, but still continuing to drop here down into the low 99% range. Going to account for this 3,000 point lead that Malaysia will build up through this introduction.
Yeah, no one messing up the mini jack, so I guess the only difference is that Kiwi is only around just about 99.8, just eclipsing almost everyone else in the lobby right now.
Yeah, just a full 0.2% clear of their next closest counterpart in Lost Cool, who is trying to reel them in, but right now not having the support from their partner to try and mount a charge. But there's a drop from Neo going into the second third now, and that could open up a window of opportunity for Thailand to start chipping away at this advantage that Malaysia has built up.
Not exactly the greatest drop by Neo there, because you would also need to make sure that the drop was complete enough for Thailand to be able to tank this accuracy. But it seems like the Syrio already climbed into like low 99s here, so I guess the difference has been mitigated somewhat.
Yeah, it usually takes about 2 to 0.3% to really overcome a miss like that, and right now Lazzaro not really in a position to capitalize on that opportunity, especially now with Neo back up over that 400 combo cap, going to be able to stem some of the bleeding here, reestablish that cushion that they had built up through the introduction going into the last third. And there goes Natsuro. The trade in return finally arrives, and that is going to help double the lead for Malaysia going into this last quarter here.
Yeah, this last quarter is basically the same, even if not longer in terms of the longer representation-wise. And I guess pretty much here it goes. There should be nothing holding back from Malaysia after the performance. I guess stellar performance, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. It is looking like an incredible answer back after that performance on Rice 2. It looks like hybrids might be the way to go, at least as an alternate route for Malaysia to try and continue to pick up points here. But as of right now, Natsuro picking up another drop, not answered back by Malaysian. Both countries actually holding on to the singular FCs, but the outrageous accuracy from Chiwi going into this outro, 99.7 to the 99.6 of Lost Cool, keeping them in check. And at the end of the day, Malaysia is going to be able to answer back to make this 1-1. With everything else left on the table here, a pretty convincing answer back here.
1-1 here, and here we go. This pretty much, you would see three big names here, just pretty much almost similar scores, except Kiwi with the supreme ratio to go about to 991k on this is actually insane.
Yeah, for sure. Having the ratio of the next closest score is not something to take too lightly. That is a pretty ridiculous score. All things considered, might be one of the highest of the weekend as it stands. But for right now, Thailand up to pick once again. They do still have the majority of the LN pool to go through. They do still have their protect, but they're gonna go for Rice 3.
I actually don't like this pick now after seeing Burning Star went almost the opposite way.
Yeah, it almost...
Because it feels similar, but at the same time, Nasir is taking almost way too much damage on the core stream by itself, and you're not gonna likely to get to see Malaysian players choking you.
Potentially not, especially with the answer back from Chiwi being able to correct whatever went wrong on Rice 2. Being able to FC Hybrid 1, no small feat. So might be locked in for the rest of this match, which could spell trouble for Thailand moving forward. But it looks like still no substitutions from them. Gonna get the MP Star command. We're gonna get into this third map of this best of 11. And the door is wide open for either of these countries to really stake their claim in this match, establish a bit of a foothold moving forward here.
my personal bias for this song is that this song gets used way too many times. So
It's a good
I don't know.
song though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think I've seen this song for like 6 times in the entire World Cups, and I think this might get old a little bit.
Nah, if you know the words, sing along.
Very good starts for well, I guess the difference is pretty much exactly the same. Apart from Kiwi having a 99.99 on the intro.
Yeah, that introduction is a bit of an appetizer. Things kind of start to fly off the rails here as we dive on into the main chorus, and everything all square, all 4 FCs still left on the board. Natsurio picking up a little bit of damage, picking up maybe a rush of 200s and transitioning into this section, but starting to quickly build right back up. But it is going to account for this cushion that Malaysia has built up. Everybody else holding this bar of 99.7 at minimum is probably going to be what's needed to swing a team performance on this particular chart. And we're already going into the second third.
Yeah, the component anchoring here, it seems like to be the accuracy for the top row, and it's just pretty much carrying the whole team, respectively.
Yeah, it's a top half versus bottom half battle at the moment as we work our way into the build-up, into the back half. It is Chiwi going up against Lost Cool, Neo going up against Natsurio, and right now both Malaysians are winning their battle against their Thai counterparts. Continue on here, another build-up section. A chance for everybody to start building up their accuracy.
Somewhat 200 from Kiwi's part, but that even with the 200, that's still above 99.92 now.
Might be their first one of the map as it stands. We'll need to see the result screen at the end if they can hang on to, again, a very clean performance. Being answered back slightly by Law School, but only, still a 0.1% behind to try and catch them, to try and start putting a bit of a dent in this lead. It's 7,000 points off the back of the accuracy alone, and there goes Law School, finally finding a drop here, going into the last 8.
Yeah, Lost School dropping is not going to be good for Thailand right now, especially Malaysia are in cruise control.
Yeah, they've finally dialed in. Any opening match jitters might finally be out of the system as they are firing on all cylinders at the moment. Chiwi holding the standard at the moment, 99.9 for them. Neo in support, 99.6, still ahead of Natsurio, and as it comes to an end, Malaysia will pick up their first break point in this match to make it 2-1. What is that score?
Excuse me, 113 on a quarter pick like this is like almost untouchable.
Oh my goodness. And there's that singular 200 you saw.
Yeah, that single 200 was at the break almost.
No. They're too good. These guys are just too good. It's ridiculous. Everybody else, that's potentially what you're going to see throughout the rest of the weekend. Then you have the outlier on the top left-hand corner. You need performances like that to be able to break these matches wide open. And now Malaysia, an opportunity to double up off of that break point. What do they go for here?
Yeah, Malaysia will most likely we're gonna have to go another hybrid, seems like, because Target for Love seems to be a targeted pick for the second player from Thailand. And they're gonna go with LNs here. I mean, not surprising at all because 8-Bit Adventure seems to be the most straightforward LN picks out there that is still on the comfortable side.
Yeah, it reaches a point where the density reaches a point where you're just playing another chord stream pick. Debatable. You still do need to respect the releases of the LN charts, but with it only being 2 minutes, if the physicality element of this chart is a little bit too much for Thailand to handle, Malaysia basically have pick of the litter for the rest of this match in terms of what they want to go into.
It seems like whether Thailand will have to keep the same 2 players in the lobby. I think it might have been. Yep, there you go. No substitutions for Thailand here.
Yeah, they might feel that this is their strongest lineup against this particular opponent. Might not have the luxury of chancing it with anybody else. But as we load into this fourth map, it is advantage Malaysia at the moment.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes, especially with the three powerhouse. Well, I guess the powerhouses of this entire lobby is decided by this long nodes.
Yeah, these are very dense, complicated patterns to read through. Losing track of where you are at any given moment is a very real possibility, but so far through this introduction, pretty much all square outside of one particular player standing 3/10 ahead of everybody else.
Well, yeah, there's still like 99.5, and then you get to look at one other player, which is like 99.7, but Syria taking the first drop here for his entire pick.
Yeah, relatively clean drop, cleaner than we have seen from them. Still hovering in this 99% range, but it does give Malaysia quite a bit of a cushion to work with because of the fact that they haven't found a miss of their own. Still 2 FCs on their side going into the back half now, perfectly complementing each other at the moment and building on that advantage.
Yeah, the advantage just keeps getting bigger and bigger, especially with the gradual drop from Thailand side, especially. EOJ is still the same accuracy, even after the onslaught of the first half of it.
Yeah, very importantly, they're keeping ahead of Law School, who is holding on to the highest accuracy for Thailand at the moment. So really nothing Thailand can do to start chipping away at this lead. They would need to have some drops from the Malaysians, but we're already approaching this last 8. It is still 2 incredibly clean performances from this Malaysian roster to potentially make this a 3-1 situation, successfully capitalize on that breakpoint, and really start putting the pressure on Thailand to start finding points elsewhere, because they've entered the LN domain and they have successfully done it. It is 3-1.
3 full combos. That is I have no idea what to say, but literally, Chiwi's ratio is half of the second highest score in this.
No, it's another level of performance from Chiwi at the moment. As I mentioned, they are just dialed in at the moment, and when they are on it, it is terrifying as Thailand look to Rice 6 to try and steady the ship once more.
They're gonna go with the mixed bag, Cosmic Railroad.
It's a bit of a coin flip, mostly because of the stylistic choices in this chart. But you pick something like this to try and account for your opponent missing on some of the harder patterns found in this chart, asking you to do a lot. And when you're trying to balance everything being asked of you, it's very easy to lose track, and that's where the misses start to occur. But on the other side, that's a two-way street. It can happen to your team as well, so gotta be able to keep it together on a pick like this.
One thing you would notice is that I think this particular pick has course trade that has embedded mini checks thrown into it. Just to get a little bit of a taste of how you would play Korjak. I guess not Korjak. Korjak with a little bit of a jump glut inserted in it.
Yeah, it's not as straightforward as one might think, and keep an eye on those sections when they do arrive. Wouldn't be surprised if it claimed a player or two as we make our way through this. Again, Malaysia up 3-1 as it stands. Thailand looking to try and keep it together, but now going to need to take a break point off of Malaysia to restore parity here.
Yeah, again, we've seen similar, not the strongest start by NeoJ. I guess the lowest accuracy for now, but at the same time, it is just pretty much the first quarter of the chart. Nothing too crazy to be able to happen with a drop there.
Yeah, it should start to stabilize before too long. They've already caught up to both Law School and Natsurio as it stands. But as I say that, picking up another stray 200 here and there on some of these burstier transitions.
I think the only 200s are coming from the LJ side with it. So I guess the lead stays the same from where it is, but it counteracts with Kiwi's 99.9.
Yeah, I think the name of the game, the objective for Neo is basically hold on to the FC if at all possible. You can tank some of the accuracy here and there. You can afford to find a stray 200, but so long as you don't drop, you can hold on to the advantage as it stands. We're already into the last third. This is not a long song by any stretch of the imagination. And there goes Natsurio.
There goes Natsurio with the first drop here, and all things considered, NeoJ is still keeping them afloat pretty much. And already the lead is just extending towards 12,000 against towards Malaysia.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Thailand at the moment. It's those singular mistakes that give the opening that Malaysia can capitalize on so efficiently because of the fact that it's so rare for them to find drops on charts like this. They do come every now and again, and we saw it happen for Thailand's opening pick, but as it stands, they have cleaned it up. They have put together 4 maps in a row. A second breakpoint going the way of Malaysia. It is now 4-1.
4-1. Again, showing the supreme ratio. Literally, Kiwi has like one third of a 300 count.
No, it's one of those. You look at that score and you just kind of tip your cap. It's like, okay, all right, you earned that one. We concede this point. Fair play. And you just continue on. You can't dwell on it too much because you know what you're going up against, and at some point you just have to find an answer. But time is quickly running out for Thailand here, with Malaysia up to pick once again. I've been eyeing a particular pick this entire match, and I'm surprised Malaysia hasn't thrown it out. And it is indeed.
Oh no! All right. Take your dice rolls. Just to make sure that we're on the same page. Korjak pick is a Korjak, so you would bound to get 100% a Korjak score. Whether you like it or not, the judgment will be staying funny as it is, but you get the ratio. And I think, on the top of my head, 2 of these names are going to get there.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we saw a double-digit 300 count performance in this lobby, perhaps even multiple. On the flip side, we could see the double-digit 300 performance and a number of misses.
You have more misses than 300s? That's crazy.
that could very potentially happen. When it comes to the style of Rice pick, when it comes to Korjak picks, they teeter on a knife's edge. We are going to see, hopefully, one of the closest score lines this match has seen so far. It's just up to the players to deliver.
Yeah, look at that playfield shining by those fanatic clips on the background. I mean, we've seen Dale with 9300 from Canada's side be seen earlier on in today, so maybe you could see that being replicated effortlessly by 2 of these names.
Yeah, it's one of those you sit at the edge of your seat. It's a heart and mouth moment every non-Rainbow 300 that peters out, and heaven forbid a 200 were to ring out, much less a miss, because every 100% matters on a Korjak pick like this. We see it teetering. It's already 3,000 points because of the fact that we see one player lagging behind. It is 99.6. The bar on a pick like this for a lot of these players is 99.9 or bust. And there is the bust. Natsurio finding the first miss, going to help balloon this lead for Malaysia. But Neo actually trades it back now. That's another one.
That's a mystery. That's a mystery by Neo there. I saw like a complete 3-note chord miss.
And now brings things into disarray, but Natsurio trades it back once again, going into the first row break of this chart. A chance for the players to regain their composure. take a deep breath for what is going to be a gauntlet for this last quarter. It is still 8,000 points in favor of Malaysia as it stands. The misses from Neo were much cleaner than those of Natsurio, and it's accounting for this advantage that Malaysia has built up once again. Lost Cool doing everything in their power to keep Chiwi in check on the top half of the playfield, but as things start to get denser again, there's trades all over the place on this bottom half.
The bottom row is actually missing on the 1-8 person, and Natsurio is losing the steam here. But again, both names on the top half is doing everything they can just to get that double digit.
And they might very well have done it as the chart comes to an end.
998.6, that's 81! That's even better with a V1 double S. And again, with Law School as well, 2 V1 double S on this lobby.
Nah, we can pack it up. That's... no. The fact that that probably won't even be the highest score of the round is ridiculous. And I mean, kudos to Neo and Natsurio playing their best to be in support of their partners. It's just, that's just the way these core jack picks can go. It can go wrong in an instant. You either pick up singular misses here or there, or you just spike a section, and it's just all thrown out the window. And Thailand reeling now 5 picks in a row. They're gonna go for Hybrid 3 to try and mount some sort of a comeback here.
Why jam here? Sounds like a recipe for disaster if you're not particularly careful with the speed up at the very end of the card.
Yeah, it does fly off the rails a little bit here, but you gotta go for these riskier picks to try and cause some level of discomfort.
Well, I mean, some kind of discomfort would be not the performance, but the particular name that I can't even put a nail on it.
Alrighty. Everybody stays put. MP Star Command comes out. Match point for Malaysia. An opportunity to pick up the final breakpoint needed to close this match out. Thailand looking to keep their winner's bracket run alive. Gonna need to pick up a multitude of breakpoints and win their own picks. And it's gotta start now.
Yeah, it's gonna have to do it now because this is potentially Thailand's last pick, and I don't think that this would be the case. And they have to gain their confidence back.
Yeah, I think that's a important word, the confidence. To know that you can stand toe-to-toe against a team like Malaysia. But for right now, good starts for 75% of the lobby. Natsurio picking it up. Starting to build up their accuracy. Some of these releases giving them a little bit of trouble, but very importantly, holding on to their FC for the moment. Does keep them in striking range should Malaysia find a drop either in Chiwi or Neo. It is possible, has happened, but they have been few and far between as we continue on into the second third of this chart.
I mean, so far the accuracy has been all solid throughout the entire top row of the lobby. But again, Natsurio is taking pretty much quite a bit of a damage in terms of the, yeah, like that one too, with the one drop after the lower accuracy in particular.
The one silver lining is the fact that since they did have the lowest accuracy, or they have the lower accuracy on their team, the miss doesn't do nearly as much damage as if Lost were to find a drop, or somebody like Chiwi were to find a drop in the break section going into the back half now. That could do a bit of wonder for Thailand as things start to pick up in this back half. Lost Cole holding on to the FC, but that's a real finding a trade.
Yeah, I guess the trade is up, but you slipped off on that long on the fourth column, which you're supposed to hold on, but I guess they would have let go of that.
Yeah, a tiny bit of a slip up on what has otherwise been a very solid performance from them, but at the end of the day, they're back up with that 400 combo cap. They still have the highest accuracy in this lobby. If anything, the lead has grown for Malaysia since that drop. And as we continue on here, the window of opportunity for Thailand to get back into this is rapidly closing.
Oh, actually, that's
Neo.
a jump for some reason. And we're now entering the speed up here.
Wow, but Lost finds the drop into the transition. Everything starts to really pick up here. And that drop is going to do an insane amount of damage. The lead growing to about 18,000 points. And as the chart comes to an end, so too will the winner's bracket run for Thailand as Malaysia successfully pick up their third breakpoint and close this match out by a score of 6-1.
Everything's right in the Malaysia's favor, and even then, the slider break from Chiu was that on that fourth column, and that's not even an FC, but it might as well be because that score is insane for both Law School and Chiwi. Congratulations to Malaysia for advancing forward to the semifinal winners bracket.
Yeah, very strong performance. The dynamic duo, Chiwi and Nioki, getting it done when it mattered. Took a bit of a sucker punch on that opening pick, but kudos to Thailand for putting up a great performance. The scoreline might not reflect it, but some of those maps did get pretty close at times. But it is not over yet. This block of matches has only just begun. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Brazil is playing France. It is currently 5-1 on that B stream. But we will be back at the top of the hour in about 23 minutes to bring you guys the next match. It will be Russia taking on the Netherlands. And Mifa, are you excited for that match?
I am absolutely excited because that one particular matchup, it would be getting even closer to that scoreline that is not 6-0 or even 6-1. There's a potential tiebreaker to happen.
Potentially. We won't curse it because we want some very electrifying performances, but you'll just have to stick around to see how that match turns up. And then after that, have a tiny bit of a gap, and we'll be back at 18:30 UTC for another doubleheader. It will be the US taking on Sweden and Poland taking on the United Kingdom. So plenty more action to come. Do not touch that dial. And until then, we'll catch you guys in just a little bit.
Yeah, we'll be right back.